hmm hmm Hello, I'm here again. Hope you're all doing well. I am doing okay. I'm very sleepy today, but I do have tea this time. Not that I didn't have tea last time. It's just the tea last time that I had was well, I explained this on the official stream, but not on this. I don't really know how it occurred, but the milk that I put in the last tea expired on I think the 8th of March, and last stream was like June the something. So that's why the tea itself was not a sort of a very nice flavor. But all the other stuff that I put in it meant that it sort of counteracted the milk. So that actually worked quite well. The color of this still is a bit worrying, but I think it's probably fine. I mean, it doesn't smell as horrible, and there's not sort of bits hanging out in it. So that I'm a big fan of. Hello. I hope you're all having a nice day so far. Bit later today, had some stuff to do, and sort of got caught on the outside for a bit, so I was a little bit late. But now I'm here. Hello. Today is Monday. I don't know why I said that. I think I said it because I couldn't think of something else to say, so I opted to go with that instead. Anyway, beginning with all this. Okay, so I'm not saying the UWU thing right now. Do you know the Samsung virtual? I think I saw something about that. Wasn't she like some kind of animu woman that they kind of tried to go with? I don't know. I mean, I kind of know a bit about it. I saw like some images, but I'm not sort of well versed. Christ, look at this. Terrible. I got rained on a bit earlier, so my hair's sort of given up. In a minute, I know it upsets people when my hair's not sort of in order. So I'll do a couple more sweeps, and I think we'll stick on this for now. Wonderful. Yep. Also, yeah, I've got cats on me today. Look at this. I want to show you this. I was really happy when I got it. Look, look at all these cats. There's a little orange one as well. Look, there's so many cats on me right now. I've never been covered in more cats. And there's a little orange one as well. I think I showed that, but he's my favorite one. If it's a he, I don't really know. I haven't really taken much time to sort of analyze the cats themselves, but I like them. Um, uh, hey Oxy, you've got classes, right? So I've got a question. Do you mean glasses? I don't have classes. Well, I mean, I had classes when I went to school and things, but no longer. Um, so yeah, I don't explain what this is because a lot of people I think come in here and don't kind of know really. Because if you're new, effectively, as you can tell, I'm incredible with words. This is just sort of a place for you to hang out a little bit on a Monday where we can talk about War Thunder or other things or whatever. I have a very obnoxious amount of time in this game, and I know a lot about the game in terms of vehicles specifics and that kind of thing. So if there's any kind of question you have relating to how to play a certain thing, how to make a lineup, or how to progress through the game, or any kind of questions along that kind of in that kind of vein, I can do my best to help for like I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, it's sometimes I put tea with Tome. Sometimes I just put Oxy. It sort of depends how I'm feeling on the day. Just sort of switch it up. Why not? Um, anyway, on to the subject. Yes, quite so. Um, yeah, I have an FPS drop after this update. It's just me, or is there a problem? I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, usually with updates and stuff, that they sometimes there is issues that come along like that, especially with FPS drops. I notice that I get them a lot when I look at like explosions now. I think on my PC, but I don't get it on this stream PC. So it kind of depends on that front. Potentially, it could be an issue. I don't know. You'd be better off going to the forum with it, seeing if the issue exists, and then putting your clog in. You know, your clog files mean for doing bug reports. I mean, there's nothing that I guess we can really do here just by saying the issue exists. 'Cause I mean, I'm pretty sure it does exist, but there's I don't really have much scope to do much on that front at the moment. So I'd say go to the forum, the bug report section on PC performance, anything like that, and hopefully you can get a bit more of a good answer, I suppose. Um, hello, Abigail. I hope you're well too. I'm just fine today, I think. I'm just a bit windswept because I was outside for a bit earlier. Um, What is the overall best premium for Russia that is not above 7.3? Okay, that's a pretty good question. I usually go for the, in this answer, the T34 mod 1943, the 57mm one, or the Sherman as well. The Sherman's probably one of my favorite vehicles in the entire game, so I really, really like that one. But at its BR, it can be a little bit tricky. Generally speaking, I like to go with the T34. It's really, really cheap. I think it's only 1,600 GE, which is like for a premium in sort of tier 3. It's really good value, and it's a vehicle that's incredibly versatile, really effective. That's probably what I would go with for the best premium, but it depends. I mean, on what you want overall from the game, whether you want something just for fun or to progress through the tree with. Yeah, it kind of depends, but I think overall I'm pretty confident in going with the T34. That's what I would pick anyway if I was in your position of looking for a vehicle like that. Can you play KV-1C with 5.0 tanks? Yeah, definitely. It's a vehicle that relies on its armor a lot to function, but the gun is still great. Mobility is okay, and I mean, even in up tiers, if you can keep yourself on the move and not let the enemy get an easy shot into you, it can still work in the up tiers. So I say, yeah, it's not unusable in up tiers. 5.0 especially, I mean, it can work fine at 5.0. But it's still a bit of a lineup vehicle in that sense. If you get a 6.0 game, 5.7 game, it's not going to perform quite as well, but it's still going to have applicability. So yeah, I'd say it's definitely possible. If you do have a lineup up there and that's where you'd rather play it, I think definitely. I'll try a bit of tea now, actually. Oh, we have a funny meme arrow here. I like seeing funny meme arrows outside of 4chan. Relying on armor and War Thunder. Yes, I mean, this is sort of the nature with heavy tanks. It's a passive advantage. It's never really an active advantage in the sense that you can go out and guarantee that it exists and guarantee that it sort of will have function. In a different way that you can say with mobility. Mobility is a very active advantage. You can guarantee your mobility works if you hold down W and have good map knowledge. You can get it to where it's going to go. Armor's not really something you should go out expecting to rely on, but in some vehicles, you need to be aware that your armor is better than other vehicles, and from that particular line of thinking, you can, pretty effectively use some heavy tanks way better than you would otherwise. It's all a mindset thing, really. So they see a lot of people, with the funny memes and funny meme arrows about the armor thing. You can absolutely rely on armor, but in the sense of knowing how effective it is and knowing what you can get away with, getting what you can get away with, I think is probably the most important aspect to that. But if you drive out in something like the Tiger or the KV-1 or whatever, and you just play like you're invulnerable, it's not going to work. But if you're sort of, very aware of how effective your armor is, you can be fighting an enemy and then, know if they're a threat to you or not. And from that, you can sort of gauge how to engage them specifically, which you can't really do with most medium tanks or light tanks, for example. It depends. I mean, heavy tanks in general, there are very few that I would probably personally class as quintessential heavy tanks. I think a lot of them are sort of like, the most common, I guess, comparison is the T32, T32E1, in that it's a bit more like a very well-armored medium tank. And I think a lot of them do sort of form into that niche. But it depends. I mean, it becomes a bit of a grey area in that sense, but the sort of designational nomenclature of heavy tank is a bit sort of misleading in that sense, and I think that's in the same vein where people compare the Jumbo and the Tiger, for example, which I've always said is a very disingenuous comparison. They're vehicles that share a classification, although not even fully, as the Jumbo is an assault tank, Tiger's a heavy tank, but they could not, function to different extremes in terms of what they actually are usable for, like what they're good for, effectively. So yeah, it's a bit of a grey area as a sort of comment, as a sort of a question, but I think it's quite dishonest to say that armor doesn't really play a part. Not that that's what you were saying for your initial very funny comment there, but I mean, there's a variance to it, and I think that's always quite important to consider. I'll have another bit here. How about this? Much better than last time, although it's a bit strong. There are many factors at play in here. But the tea itself is way better than before, so that's very, very nice. Please add Romania in War Thunder. From what I understand, Italy will get the minor access nations, so Hungary, Romania will probably go into Italy. I don't know if it's ever planned to have a sort of particular tree, like a subtree, in the same way that Britain got the South African line. I don't know if that's ever actually a plan or an intention, but I think because there's not really enough to create a sort of fully fledged tree, it'll probably be in Italy in some form, either through sporadic premiums or in a line. I'm not really sure. So that's probably, I think, what the plan is. At least I remember that being the plan a long time ago. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's changed. I'm not sure. But from what I understand, I think that's pretty much the intention right now. Oh Christ! No chunky milk, not this time. No, it wasn't really chunky. It was sort of stringy, which I think was worse. But wasn't bad. I mean, all the other stuff equaled it out. So we sort of had a bit of a minor success on that front. Very nice. Mm, mm, mm. Can you pet the devs for us? They deserve it. I certainly can. We have two that are in this office. But then they're not here at the moment. The other one's in home office and the other's on vacation, so I can't pet them. Sad. Maybe one day I can do that. I don't know. Hello, Oxy. I watched your video on America yesterday. Thank you. I was wondering if you included every single tank in the tree. Yes, every single tank will be included going forward. Everything hidden, everything premium, everything in the main line, every single vehicle is included. So, yep, that will be the case. Very nice. What do you think about making a mixed nation with South American tanks? I don't really know much about them. I know they had some interesting prop aircraft. There was a really interesting one. I can't remember the name, but it was an aircraft that was a bit like the Beaufighter. Oh, excuse me, a bit like the Beaufighter, but could carry RP3s and was pretty high powered. I don't know what the name of it was. That was a really interesting vehicle that I've always really wanted. So I kind of like the weird stuff, like the stuff that is never really, I don't know, seen very much. Like I've always sort of had an interest in that. So yeah, I'd like to see vehicles like that in the game, but I don't really know what application there would be for adding them, I guess. So I'm not really sure where to go with that. I think it'll be interesting, but I don't really know if it's likely. But I guess in the future, we'd probably see if they have some really interesting vehicles in that line. We might get some in sort of event vehicles or premiums. I'm not really sure. But nevertheless, it would be interesting in concept anyway. Will World War I tanks be added to the game? Probably not, I would imagine. I mean, very few of them have applicability against other tanks, and especially like fighting even sort of 1BR up there, they're really going to struggle. So I don't know if it's necessarily possible in that sense. I think it's more likely to come to enlisted. Obviously, I don't know if it will come to enlisted, but I think if you were to expect from one of these games that kind of era, it would more likely be enlisted. But I don't think tanks especially will come to War Thunder. Maybe aircraft, I guess. I mean, they can at least have function, I guess, in against sort of more powerful aircraft, but I'm not really sure on that one, I'm afraid. Can a teapot be added for decoration? I mean, sure, suggest it. It might occur. I can't really speak to that. It'd be quite nice though. Thoughts on the Marder? The new one, do you mean? The A1 minus? Or the well, I assume you mean that one, but I'm not a fan of assuming. Let me know. What happened to the MiG-23 lead indicator, that YOP? If you mean the lead indicator that was on the dev server, it was because we were testing it in arcade. So that was why. Sorry, yeah, it wasn't coming through. Have you found that frog from your childhood? I haven't. I've not found the frog yet. If anyone would like to assist, more than welcome. More than welcome to assist on that front. Can you look at my chats? I can. Hello. The chat is actually going quite quickly, so there will be instances where I miss something. But I am sort of, well, trying my best to have a look. and see what is being said. What do we need to do to the rangefinder so it will automatically change the range? You need a laser rangefinder. It won't work with a regular one. So if it's a laser and you have it installed, press the key and it will automatically jump immediately to the registered range. But it won't work on optical or the other sort of intermediary rangefinders. So yeah, it's got to be laser on that front. Do you think Finland should have a tech tree of its own? Not really my place to say. I think I'm not really the person to sort of decide that. I think because a lot of their vehicles were sort of not indigenous designs, it would probably be better that they're premiums in the Swedish tree, at least from, it's the same way with China. Like China uses a lot of vehicles that are in other trees in some form, and I mean that already seems to really upset people. So, like Finland is a bit more interesting, I guess, as a nation on that front. So maybe it wouldn't be super like it wouldn't be really to the same degree. But I think probably in terms of the actual vehicles they had, it would be probably easier in that sense to add them in some form into the Swedish tree. But I don't know. It's not really my place to kind of assert something like that. I think. Watch Violet Evergarden. This is a serious recommendation. I think I know that. I dated. Yeah, someone I dated a while ago said that I reminded them of the main character to that. I never watched it, but maybe I will. Yeah, Evergarden. Okay, yeah, maybe I'll watch it. I don't really know what it's about. I got a vague idea, but yeah. Apparently, I reminded her of the character from that. We should see more tanks like the Maus, where you can research them outside of the regular tree. Yeah, I mean that's effectively in some form what squadron vehicles are. Obviously, I know we both know that's not really the same thing. I know what you're saying, but there's something like that in the same kind of it's in the same sort of vein, I guess. And it would be nice to kind of see more vehicles added like that maybe are a bit more limited. Yeah, maybe there's some applicability for that down the line. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, more vehicles like the Maus would be cool. Not really for peak gameplay, I guess, but I mean, they're interesting and nice, I guess. What's your favorite IFV? I don't know. I don't play them very much, actually. Um, hmm. I'm not sure. Maybe the Warrior. I do like the Warrior. I like the Milan too, and the thermals work pretty good. And it's out of BR where I think it's the lack of stabilizer doesn't hurt it too much. So I do really like that. Although I'm pretty sure the Dardo. I haven't really played the new tier much, new tier, a new update much. So I probably end up liking the Dardo a bit more. But I don't know. I'll have to test it. More cats? Yeah, more cats. It's what my sort of jumper is. I'm covered in cats right now. The best thing is some of them are kind of pouty. Like, let me show you. There's one on the back actually that's a bit pouty. There you can see, but it's like that one. That cat's kind of sad. Got a little pout going on. I love it. Very sweet. I'm a big fan of this. It's very warm as well, which is nice on the sort of chillier days. Will there be a Tiger 105 event? Probably not, but I wouldn't say it's impossible. I don't think it's sort of planned to add them back in any form because they are sort of ahistorical vehicles. But maybe I'm not sure. I mean, I have no idea on that front. I can't really give you any sort of concrete information, I'm afraid. But maybe I'm not sure. No cats want goose. Yeah, like I love the goose jumper, but I can't wear it all the time because then I don't know it'll sort of lose its charm. So I've got to sort of supplement with other things like cats. And I've got a shirt with some whales on it. I'm looking forward to wearing that. Irrelevant, but still a comment, I guess. I just came in to see kitty cats. Yay, yay! I'm glad you are a fan. I am as well. Very very sweet. Update on the goose jumper 2 to 3 weeks since dispatch. Nice. I'm really glad. I hope it arrives and it fits and you like it. It's really really nice. I'm very glad I bought that. Made me very happy. Quick question: will Tier 6 jets price go down in the future? I think maybe down the line when we get a lot of new vehicles in the higher tiers, it's not unlikely. But I don't know. I can't say that as a promise. I just think like if I were to guess, like judging on how the tank progression's been, um, it's probably maybe going to happen down the line. I mean, obviously, I don't want to be here and sort of say this in a way that kind of affirms for you that it will happen because I don't know. But I would probably guess that it would from my own sort of disconnected perspective. Hey, Oxy, what do you think of the concept of a scout plane that you can spawn in ground RB? Essentially, a plane with no armament. It would encourage team play for low BRs. For example, you could spawn in a biplane near top tier. You could perhaps spawn in a high altitude bomber with cameras. I love the idea of that in the sense that, well, mainly because I love those vehicles, sort of recon vehicles. Imagine like flying out like the kind of Lysander and stuff, and the recon like versions of like the Lightnings and Spitfires and that kind of thing. I'd really like that, but I don't know if it would be super beneficial in terms of gameplay because you could. It's a difficult thing to kind of explain, but I think without a lot of caveats, it would be a bit detrimental to how the game kind of plays. Especially for some people. I mean, it would really hurt some particular tank play styles. Those that need to sort of stay on the move, be hidden, etc. Like it does add a lot of negativity there, but I mean, it would help. It would make some aspects of the game more engaging, but some I think it would hurt a little bit. I'm not really sure. I think I would like to see it, but I think it would need to be introduced in a very, very careful way as to not harm the sort of tank combat in the game right now. I'd really like to see that though, especially because it would mean recon vehicles and that kind of thing would actually have a would have a place in the game. Like those are some of my favorite aircraft of all time. I love their designs and stuff. I don't know why. It's quite a boring thing to like, I guess. But yeah, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it, but I think I'd like to be a bit cautious on it, I guess, in some form. Will you guys ever set up a PO box so we can send you cool stuff for the weekly streams? I mean, it's a nice idea, but we'd probably just send acid and bombs and stuff. So I don't know if that will happen. It would be nice because it would mean we could, I guess, maybe get some cool stuff. But I mean, I know what the internet is like, especially in terms of someone like me. I don't want to sort of get my face melted off. So it probably won't happen, but I mean, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe it could be fun. Do you think the devs have plans to add more vehicles to minor nation tech trees, such as Japan, China, etc.? Yeah, I think so. I mean, they are vehicles sort of by extension that are very, very difficult to find information on. It's never the case that the development team just don't want to add vehicles for China or Japan. It's just that finding accurate information, on them is very, very difficult to even attain it, sort of get the data on its own and then actually be able to translate it and implement it correctly. It's very, 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 very difficult. So it's absolutely not the case that they actively don't care or want to focus on other trees. It's just, for example, that the majority of the dev team are in Moscow, so vehicles, say in the Russian tree, are more accessible to them. A lot of the team speak Russian. The documents, etc., are more readily available in that country. So it's the case that there are a lot more Russian vehicles added because the information on them is way more easy to attain. And that sort of on the vice versa is why China, Italy, and Japan, those vehicles take a bit longer to introduce because they are, information is much scarcer. So, that's chiefly the reason why. It's not the case that, they don't care. I can absolutely promise you that. Naval tree in 2021, maybe. I'm not sure. It'd be nice to see another one. Probably, I guess France is probably the most likely to get a new one, but I'm not sure. Can't really speak to it. Is another World War mode being made? Not sure. I haven't heard anything on World War mode for a while, actually. Maybe at some point. I'm not sure. Bear in mind as well, there's lots of things that I obviously can't really talk about here. This is not really the place where I can release any new information or whatever. I can just pretty much just give you my own perspective on stuff that I would assume is coming or anything like that. I can't exactly uh release any information that's not currently available. I'm afraid. I can try though. Oxy, will there be any new bombers for Germany? Again, not sure. I'd like to see some more, especially some of the bigger stuff, like the HE 274. That'd be nice. The JU 390, some big stuff. Um, I don't know how they would be balanced really, but stuff like that would be really nice. I love those aircraft. That'd be great. Um, don't you think War Thunder is too long a game to complete? Um, well, I don't really know what that means. I think it depends on what your sort of overall goal with the game is. I mean, if your goal is to unlock everything, spade everything, get all the camos for everything, yeah, I mean, it's taken me like 9 years to get like 95% done with the game, which I'm pretty much at now. It takes a really long time. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know if that's the best intention to kind of approach the game with. Obviously, I'm not trying to be here and say you're thinking wrong. Don't think this way. It's the wrong way to think. I don't want to sort of be there and like kind of have that perspective. But at the same time, I think there are sort of better ways to approach the game. In many ways, I mean that's in the sense for progressing down the tree, playing everything, playing different game modes, etc. There's a lot to it in that sense. So I think it probably is a long game to sort of get to the end of everything. But if you can, dedicate a bit of money to get premium, or not even that much, like premium account for a few weeks, get some like well placed talismans, you can get to the top tier like pretty effectively if you sort of have a base level understanding of how the game functions. That will obviously take a while. So I think this game works at its absolute best when you take it slow. You approach it quite slowly. Um, Start the lower tiers, and sort of gradually progress up the trees. That's when you'll probably get the most sort of engagement out of the game, I think. And I've always sort of said that, and I think I still stand by that now, I think. Oh, that tea is actually quite refreshing. I like that. Although I'm talking quite quickly today, so I'm getting out of breath. Terrible. Mm. Um, I am join the 7-0, but I match 8-0. Yes, that's matchmaking. The BR goes one notch either way. So if you're playing 6-0, you can see up to 7-0 or 5-0. And it's sort of it goes through there. So I think it's that 1/4 of every team can be top tier. So if you're, say it's a 16v16, 4 players on each team have the potential to be top tier. Everything else will be below. And that's just how the matchmaking works on that front. Ash007 has completed almost every aviation tree, but he's played for nearly 7 years. Yeah, I mean, it takes a while, and it depends how long you play for. I mean, I've played a huge amount of this game. I have every single, apart from the last 2 updates, I've had every single aircraft, tank, ship, and helicopters, apart from a couple, unlocked and spaded. So I've finished the game, I guess, effectively, and it's taken me many, many years to do that. But yeah, it takes a very, very long time. Depends how I dare say your competence at the game and sort of how much time you actually have to dedicate to it. But yeah, it's taken me a while, but I've managed to unlock absolutely everything in this game in the main tree. Just playing a lot, spading stuff. I mean, I like that. I like the kind of aspect of progression in this game. I've always sort of quite liked it. So yeah, it depends. I think for some people this game is very approachable in that sense, in that it's a good feedback loop to constantly sort of be progressing up, like upgrading your lineups, your vehicles and stuff. But I think for some people who just want to rush to the end, it's a bit difficult. And I think that line of thinking is not invalid. I'm not trying to be here and say like your approach is objectively wrong. It's not fair of me to do that, and it's not even true. But I think you will have a better time with the game if you approach it in that way and you don't approach it in the sense of rushing to the end line, because you won't likely have as good a time as you would have if you took things a bit slower. Did you spend money or use the premium? Most of the time I went through the tech tree. where I sort of enjoy this game the most is sort of I'll take this off for a little bit until the air conditioner kicks on. I like spading vehicles in the main tree. So all the mainline tanks, non-premiums or planes as well. So I can spade them. And generally from that, like in the sort of most recent updates, what I'd usually do is I'd buy the premiums, like the high tier premium, but I wouldn't really need to use it because I would get to like tier 5 and 6 just by using the mainline vehicles and spading them. And I wouldn't even really need the premium. I had a premium account. I think premium account is very, very important for that kind of play. But I don't really think the premiums themselves are really that vital. But it depends. It depends what you sort of do and how you want to approach the game in general. The XP buff spading is pretty nice. Yeah, it is. It's a nice sort of incentive to do it, and it works on two levels because one, it sort of helps you progress, and in the same vein, it's makes your brain feel good. You're completing something, and yeah, I like that. I like that as a sort of feedback loop, and it's how I sort of managed to play the game for so long. After I spaded everything, I went to camos, and I think I've unlocked every aircraft camo in the game, and I have almost every tank camo, I think, below like 6.0-ish, I think. There are some that I'm missing now because vehicles have been added retroactively, but that's roughly where I'm at, I think. We're just vibing with Tome. Yes, we are. Christ, I'm pale. Sometimes I don't like. This is the only time a week where I sort of get to catch a glimpse of myself in the corner, like just sort of there. I can see it on sort of the OBS screen, and it's just this bothers me. It bothers me up here. Look at that. I glow. I glow in the sunlight. It's a nightmare. Awful. That's where the vampire comments come from. I used to get called that a lot in school because I have green eyes and I'm very pale. Apparently, that's a sort of trope. So yep, I've acknowledged it. We can all be quiet now, please. Don't bully. No, it's fine. Ghost, yes. That's sort of part of the name of one of my. I've got a hidden channel with Ghost in the name. I don't really advertise it. I just do narrations of short stories and books on it. No one really watches it, but it's quite fun. I like doing voiceover and that kind of thing. Whew. Christ, I need to breathe. I forget to breathe. Also because I'm sort of twisted right now. Let me adjust. There we go. Very nice. White like an egg. Sonar, you can't be coming here doing this to me, Sonar. You can't do this. Also, Sonar, did I ever respond to that list you gave me? Because I've got a thing in the back of my mind that says I didn't. But I want to say that I did, but I don't think I did. If I didn't, I'm huge apologies. I will get back to that because I genuinely can't remember if I did or not. I will get on that if not. I didn't. Okay, apologies, mate. I'll do that when I've finished this. I'll get back to it. Actually, I'll make a note on my phone to do that. It's really unprofessional of me. I will do that. What? So what does this mean? No, go. Oh, I don't want to see this business. I open my phone and I'm getting sent pictures of anime. This is not what I want. Sonar list. There we go. Wonderful. Back on track. Okay. What do you think will be the next country in game? I have no idea, actually. I'm really not sure. Like, I want to guess at like Czechoslovakia, but I don't know. Like the Czech Republic tree, I guess in general, will be interesting, but I really don't know. I'm really not sure. I think at least for now, it might be a bit more likely that we'll see subtrees, so like sublines, effectively. I'm not sure. I really can't speak of it. The Croatian badger. Oxy, my beloved, what is the name of your ASMR channel? It's completely hidden. I like keeping it completely hidden. No one really watches it very much, but that's quite nice. If you look up like obscure kind of short storybooks or short kind of like sometimes like poetry books and stuff, you'll probably eventually find it. But it's quite sort of secretive, I guess. And it sort of has a name attached to it that no one will ever guess, I guess. maybe. Um, yeah, like Australian tree would be really cool. They have the Australian Sabres, they've got the Australian Mustangs, they've got some interesting modifications. I don't know if they have enough to form a complete tree. Maybe if you really, really, really stretched it. But they could definitely have a sub tree, I think. Um, that'd be interesting. I love Australian stuff. There's I don't know, there's something just charming about it. I'm a big fan. So yeah, maybe at some point we can see it. Did you read Prisoners of Geography Senpai? No. No, I did not do that. I don't know what this is. Um, Overpressure needs to be nerfed. I mean, it's very strong right now, and I think, as it's just been introduced, it's probably in a state of flux in that sense. In that, it's probably not unlikely it will get sort of adjusted at some point. So I think that's probably not unlikely to have some adjustment down the line. I mean, it would obviously be adjusted down the line, but sort of at what capacity and when that will be, I can't really say. Yugoslavia would be cool too. I mean, they've got some really interesting vehicles, but I don't know how easy it'll be to sort of get the information on them. So yeah, I can't really, again, can't really comment on that annoyingly. But they do have some really nice stuff. Really nice stuff. Christ, look at this. This is terrible. I got this bit in my hair here that when it gets windy, it just sort of gives up. It gives up and does all this. Awful. Round battleship when? Yes, dude, like, I love those designs so much. I mean, they're so impractical, and just from what I remember, they were just awful and never worked. But that would be really fun to have. I'd love that. Yeah. It is windy. Yes, I can confirm this. I'm very susceptible to wind because I'm quite light. It likes to blow me over. Um, I'm glad I saved that. I saved that at the end of that sentence. Oxy, my GF loves you. Okay, I don't know how to best respond to that, but thanks. That's quite sweet. I would say I love her back, but I don't think that's my place to really say. I'm sure she's pretty cool though, and that I can almost confirm. um, hey Oxy, I don't know if you'll see this. Got you. I don't know if you'll see this, but does War Thunder have any plans on adding marketplace features for consoles? Sadly, it's not up to us. It's completely on the side of Microsoft and Sony. They don't really allow those sort of subsystems to exist on in the game. So if it was up to us, then it would be like, yeah, hell yeah, absolutely, we'll put them on. But it's not really possible. We're not allowed to do it effectively. So as much as we would love to do it and sort of add those features to console, it's not really possible right now. It's not on us, unfortunately. But yeah. So sorry about that. But yeah, right now there's not a lot we can do. Yeah, no worries. Wish it was different, but it's got to be this way right now. All of the sus comments. I mean, didn't Among Us die? I don't really see it, much of Among Us going on right now. I think oh, are you guys cool with tech? Yeah, like no reason why not. We're pretty cool with all the dudes and the dudettes and everyone in between. Whatever, everyone's cool mostly. What a weird sentence that was. F-16, yeah, yep, very cool. Where can we buy the snail plushie? It was made, I think, by one of my colleagues' mums, so it's unfortunately not available to buy right now. Maybe in the future, when we sort of kind of streamline the merchandise store, we can look at doing something like that, which would be quite nice. But we just have so much other stuff to do right now that it can't really be a priority on our end. But it's definitely something that I would like to do. It'd be really fun, I think, making some little happy snails. I'd like that. Any updates on Heli PV mode? Nothing that I've heard. I think it's still sort of in the middle of being developed right now. I think it's at the time when it was planning to be introduced, it wasn't sort of performing as well as it could have been. So this time in its hiatus is really being spent to sort of streamline it, from what I understand. I don't really know much of the specifics on that front, but hopefully it won't be too long before we can see it. I really really would like to see it soon though, because I think it has a lot of potential. Like heli, in terms of how helis fly and how they control, there's a lot of feedback, like sort of engaging feedback from how helis control, and I really like that. So yeah, hopefully it'll be sort of sooner rather than later. Please Tog 2, my guy. Maybe. I'd like that. I have an original photograph of the Tog 2, I think from 1940 something. It has on the back in pen, it has the old gang written on it, and then the names of 3 people. I don't know who they were, but yeah, I like that. I've got a few for like original photos from tanks and stuff, which is quite fun. I like collecting stuff. Like some of you might remember, I had my own sort of shop where I sold like framed original memorabilia from like aircraft and tanks, like tank adverts, aircraft adverts from the 40s. The shop is like paused right now because like I can't really start it up super quickly in Germany, but it will come back eventually. So if you want anything like that, maybe I can be able to sell some more stuff in the future, but not right now. But I love all that stuff. It's really pretty. How to kill a Panther as a T-34? As to avoid describing stuff that's not really relevant, do you mean the 85s or the 57s? And then I will get back to that. I will keep an eye out for you. Hey Oxy, do you think the devs are aware of the ping-related ATGM guidance bug? Yes, there's a bug in our tracker for it, from what I understand. A lot of people were talking about it. I'm pretty sure there is something, there is a sort of something in the tracker for it. So yeah, it is aware of. Well, it is. They are aware. I don't know why that was such a struggle for me to say that. But yeah, it's known. Don't worry about it. Well, don't worry about it. It will hopefully be fixed soon. Hopefully. Is using the War Thunder CDK easy? I'm not sure. I've never really used it myself. You'd probably be better off asking some Discords or maybe on the forum or the Reddit. I can't really give you a sort of appropriate answer to that. I think I'm not really very well versed. Oxy, AI make TikTok about you. I don't know what. Do you mean? Do you mean you've made one or an AI has? Okay. I'm not sure what this means. I'm a bit worried. Is Anton from Gaijin a real person? Yes, he is. I've chatted to him a few times, but I haven't met him yet. I likely will at some point. The tea I'm drinking. Oh, okay. I mean, you can make one as long as it's not. I don't know. My brain stops working sometimes. The tea I'm drinking is Yorkshire tea, but with some stuff in it. There's some fruity elements. It's very. It's sort of refreshing. At least this time, the milk hasn't expired 2 months ago. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How did I mess that up? How did I mess up saying noon? Awful. Piper PA. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, T2. Hope you're having a nice. Well, I assume it's afternoon for you. Hope you're having a good afternoon. Fruit. Yes, the forbidden fruit. Oh, no, maybe not. What is the forbidden fruit? Is it, I wanted to say radishes then, and I don't know why, because that's not even a fruit. I think my brain just stopped working. Hey Oxy, just got here. Do you know if the MiG-23 flight model is finished, or does it still need... That sort of works, and it's a sort of joke there. Is the flight model Finnish, or does it need Polish? Depends how you read that. That's quite funny. Sorry, I don't know. I would imagine it's tuned to the original datasheet, the initial datasheet for the flight model. It may be redone at some point. I'm not sure. I mean, usually what happens is when an aircraft is introduced, it's tuned to its initial spec sheet, the datasheet. Excuse me, and Then later on, it is tweaked and adjusted from there. So maybe I don't know. Some aircraft don't get many adjustments. Some actually absolutely do. So it could be the case that it will get some adjustment down the line. Tom, where is your cat? I don't have an actual cat as much as I would like one. Little Kitter. I have on my cardigan. I have cats. I'll put it back on properly so you can see. Look at them. Look at these. Look at these happy lads. I'll show you again. Look, they're very happy. There's a very wide cat on the back as well, which I quite like. I quite like wide cats. Um, Old rivets are forbidden mushrooms. That is a very interesting sentence. It frightens me, but it also intrigues me. Interesting. Um, how are your mum's kittens? She worked out that one of them was a girl, and they weren't both little lads. So there's one girl cat. I think the girl's cat's name is I think like Ronnie, which is like a proper builder name, which is like the sort of the sort of most disconnected thing. So that's quite funny. But yeah, they're doing fine. I think they're quite sweet. Um, happy lads, yes. Like War Thunder players, absolutely. Do you have a pet? I don't. I would really like one though, in some form, but I don't have one. Um, which is a shame because they're quite nice. You can sort of, I don't know, hang out with them and just pop like pet their heads and stuff. That's quite nice. I like that. Um, from where did you got it? I can't remember what the shop was, but they sell lots of really nice designs and stuff. Um, yeah, maybe if you type in like I don't know orange cat cardigan, it'll come up. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure how I found it. I can't remember. Um, yeah, actually, it might be on the back on the label. I'll have a look later when I sort of take it off properly. There's sort of on a thing right now. Um, what do you think about the Argentine tank named the DL-43? That word. I don't know what that is. I'm afraid. But Argentinian vehicles are actually really interesting, especially the aircraft I quite like. So that could be interesting to have a look at. Yeah, I like their vehicles a lot. I'd love to see more in game. So maybe there'll be more opportunities for that. What part of the UK am I from? I'm from Kent. I live in Margate in the UK. I'm not in. I'm in Germany right now, but that's where I live in the UK. I still have my flat there, which has all my stuff in it, and it still costs me a lot of money, but still, it's nice. It's a nice place by the sea. Has a little balcony and stuff, and yeah, I do quite miss it. Have you been to Rochester Castle? Yeah, quite a few times. I went there. I've probably been there about 5 times with schools. I think it's quite a common school trip place to go to. Um, but yeah, that's quite nice. I like castles. Um, any plans for a World War One event or to add it to the tree? I touched on this earlier. I don't think it's very likely to come to the game, at least for tanks, especially. Um, aircraft can have a bit more usability, but I still think it's unlikely to happen. Um, sorry, my brain gave up. Hello, Bob. Um, back to Panther weak spots with the T-485, please. Well, generally speaking, with the D, you can usually go for the cupola, the explosive force inside the 85, as long as you're using the A round. The A round will be able to sort of have a decent amount of explosive mass down into the turret if you hit the cupola. Generally, though, you're going to want to go for the middle of the mantlet, the very middle of the mantlet, or the cheeks. Oh, not really the cheeks, but you have the mantlet and then the front turret face, where the armor is flat on the very sides. That is a very reliable place to go as well. Another advantage, though, if you're not just going for the turret, is the side armor. If the side armor is even slightly visible, that 85 can cut through it, because the 85 is a very, very forgiving fuse. So it works incredibly well against angled armor. So if the Panther is even slightly angled, you can go right through the side plate. that is probably the most reliable way to take them out. But if it's just the turret, if it's the D model, probably the cupola you can go for. If not, the middle of the mantlet or the very corner of the turret is what I would absolutely go for. Absolutely. Can you suggest a great German jet used in mixed battles for 7.3? The Arado C3 or the ME262A1U4 with the 50mm. That one is really, really good. I would go with that. That has incredible usability, and the Arado is really good too. They're both easily the best picks in my opinion. I'd absolutely go for those, 100%. Oxy, what are your weak points? That is a secret. Only some people know my weak points. That has connotations. Yeah, I don't know what my weak points are. I'd have to think about it. Maybe something. Let's segue now. Hey Oxy, are we ever going to see an Air Force tech tree video from you? Yes, I'd really like to do one. I think it's kind of tricky. I used to play aircraft a huge amount. I've spaded every aircraft in the game. It took me a really long time to do that, but I haven't really dedicated enough time to aircraft in a very, very long time. I think I've got like maybe 12,000 hours and just playing aircraft specifically. I think more than that now, actually. So I have played them a lot, but I haven't played them enough recently to really kind of feel comfortable in sort of working out exactly how they work. Props, I'm very capable at, but I haven't really played many jets. I played a fair bit though, like overall, but not to a sort of a degree where I think I could be, I guess, confident in it, or at least more confident in it. So yeah, it's tricky, but I think at some point definitely I can give it a go. I'd like to anyway. I really like to. Is it easy to kill the T-95? It depends what you're fighting. You can go for the cupolas if you're using a good APHE round. You can go for the barrel as well. Barrel's really, really easy. And then you can sort of adjust from there. Yeah, in general, for some things, it's really difficult to take it out. But for others, they can like cut right through you with, you know, APFSDS or darts, HeatFS, excuse me. They can come sort of go right through effectively. So situationally, it's can be very strong, and other areas not so much. Yeah, it depends what you fight, really. It's like a rock paper scissors kind of thing. Can you play any instruments? I can play a bit of the ukulele, and I can play a bit of the harp as well. I quite like the harp. I've always wanted to sort of own one personally, but they're massive, and I probably won't be able to afford to live somewhere that could accommodate a room for one. I sort of grew up a lot listening to Joanna Newsom's music, and she plays the harp insanely well, and I was like, I like this. This kind of clicks for me. So I learned a bit of that. I'm not very good at it, but I like it anyway. So yeah, I would like that. I would sort of just need to live somewhere with room, I guess. Is it because you harp on and on? Ha 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 ha. That's actually very good. I like that. That is a proper sort of topical joke. That's very good. I'm very happy with that. Get a liar? Yeah, I'd like that too. I would actually quite like that. I didn't want to go for it because I heard the skills don't quite translate in terms of really kind of getting into it. But that could be kind of fun. Yeah, I'd like that. I could sort of be like I don't know, a forest elf or something. That's like the image I get in my head anyway. Whew. What map that you hate? I don't really hate many maps. I think the one I dislike the most is probably Japan, because if you don't make a very strong initial push, there's very little you can do to really progress into the map safely, I guess. It's very like lane focused, and if you kind of get stuck, so basically the map's quite small, and when the forces are kind of closing in, it gets to a point where you can't really kind of push any further without immediately getting shot at. I don't like Japan for that, because I like playing the underdog vehicle a lot. I don't like playing like the kind of super easy stuff. and those vehicles are usually quite slow. And if you don't put yourself in a good position early enough, there's very little you can do to really guarantee you're going to be in a good spot in the map, have like a good or have a good ability to actually have a impact on the match. I don't like Japan for that because there's not really much ability to really kind of force yourself into a good position if you don't get a good early push, and I don't like that for the map. I think that's my banned map. But all the others I kind of like somewhat. There are some maps like Vietnam that I don't like very much, but I think ultimately that's because I haven't dedicated enough time to play on them to learn how they work. And I think as well that's why a lot of people don't like new maps anymore. It's because you go out on them, don't know where to play, die, and then have a bad kind of mental image in your head of the map in general, and then you dislike it from that point. I think if you force yourself to play those maps, it flicks, and it will say you'll realize some spots that work, and you'll actually start liking the map. And I think a lot of it does come from that place, from me anyway. But yeah, that's how I see it. My favorite map is probably Small Sinai. I really like Small Sinai. I don't know, it just works for me. I don't like it for top tier because I mean, well, I don't really play much top tier anyway. But I really like that map. That map's really nice. Newman Zoom, Bioxy. I'm off to play the Russian IS-2. Good luck. One of my favorite tanks. I really like that one. I'm sure it will go well for you. Do you play any other game from other developers? If you mean like I play non-Gaijin games, yeah. I like playing the more kind of India games, I guess. Not games from India, but indie-ish games. I like kind of narrative games. I like games that have a good story to them. I think it's a sort of nice way to go. So I like Night in the Woods a lot. Amori, which I played recently, like Amori is really, really good. Definitely get that. If you sort of, I want to say like, if you're someone like me, you'll really like it. But I imagine you don't really know much about me, I guess. If you kind of like the idea of a game that's kind of like Earthbound, but has a lot of kind of emotional attachment to it in terms of gameplay, actual gameplay and story, Amori is really good. Night in the Woods as well is really good for that. I've been playing another game recently called Echo. Echo is really nice. It's hard to describe, but the environments in that game are from my dreams. Not specifically in a very egotistical sense, in that, oh, they made a game from my dreams, but in the sense that I feel like I've dreamed spaces similar to the spaces in Echo. I am not really far through it, but a lot of the game is like you are in an alien planet, and on this planet there is a subterranean palace, like a kind of French Rococo style palace, and it is infinite. It's like hundreds of thousands of miles across and goes right into the planet's core, and it's just this infinite like stretch of palace, and it's so interesting. I feel like I've dreamed it, and I'm enjoying that a lot. I really like that. I think you would enjoy Unravel. I've not heard of that, so yeah, definitely I could give that a look. If it's similar to those games, I'd probably like it, definitely. Whew. I'm not really very good at breathing, as you might have noticed. I have this quite annoying issue where my breathing is constantly manual. I don't automatically breathe unless like I'm really focused on something or if I'm sleeping. So I will constantly breathe manually, and it means that I cannot stagger my breaths in between talking. So I will constantly be out of breath if I speak a lot, because I speak naturally quite quickly. So yeah, that's probably quite annoying to listen to. So apologies for that. It's something I'm sort of working on. But yeah, breathing is hard, Abigail. I mean, I get you, sister. Absolutely. I don't know why I did that. What is that from? Is that a football thing? I don't know why I did that. I did. Uh, what do you think about prototype tanks being in War Thunder? My perspective is probably different than most people. Um, but sorry, I just saw the message saying "Breathe softly, sweet frog prince." Um, thank you for this. I love the idea of it because I love vehicle. I think for me, I think a lot of people are like this, but I really like things that could have been. and I have a really strong interest in things that could have been in every sense of the word, every sense of the word, and every sense of the uh, world, I guess. Things that could have been, and prototype tanks and designs like that that weren't exactly ever really say sort of came to fruition, never really reached development. They could have been, and I think a game like War Thunder is the perfect um, place for to bring a design like that back to life, and I love the idea of that. Um, and I think the game probably wouldn't, in every instance, benefit from prototype vehicles being added, but I absolutely love the idea of more prototype vehicles being in the game and sort of experiencing what they could have been like. Like I really, really like that. It kind of, it's, I know, it's really interesting. I like that. So I think I would like to see more prototype vehicles, but as long as they were introduced in a sensible way. If they fill a gap, if they're necessary, or if they make for an interesting premium, I think they definitely have a place. Absolutely. Right, I'm going to take a brief break and see if I can find this because I got a Facebook advert like on my Facebook for a frog hat, and the actual description of it was so intensely funny. I need to find it. Bear with me a sec. I think I have it saved somewhere. Um, I must find this because I need to read it out to you. It's the funniest thing I've conceived of. Um, I will see if I can find it. It's so intensely funny. Um, I think this is it. Yeah, here it is. It's from Amos Fun, cute plush frog hat winter scarf, and the top line says, "If you like happy selfie, the funny plush hats will make you more beautiful in photos. Your own animal head hat. You must be the most fascinating when you are attending a party or event." And I love that so much. It's so good. It's just, I saw that as like a title and I thought, I need to buy it. I need to buy it. That's the funniest thing I've ever seen. I didn't buy it, but I might buy it now because it's just, I read it and it's like, it feels like the person who wrote that is so like intensely happy with themselves that they wrote it. And it's really good. I think if you just type in Amazon frog hat, it comes up. It's just like, you must be the most fascinating. Sorry, I make a sort of deflating noise when I laugh. Sorry, you probably heard that. That was really loud. Sorry. I just, I love it. It's so good. I'm such a mess. I'm sorry. But yeah, I love the frog hat just for that reason. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, when I laugh, I sort of make a deflating noise, or like if you sort of step on a cat, that's the noise I make. It's really annoying. Yep. Someone asked what tea I'm drinking. I'm drinking Yorkshire tea with a little bit of. It's got a bit of soy milk in because we only have like soy milk at the office, and a bit of fruity stuff in it, which is quite nice, and I'm a fan. There's a 5-star review from yeah. So many people have bought like the fascinating frog hat. I must be one of them. Maybe I'll get one. Oh, Captain Wolf says never be sorry for who you are. That's very very sweet, and I sort of live by that very much. Yes, never be sorry for who you are. That's that's very cute. Thank you for this comment. Um, um, aren't you a human? You look more like a human than a fan. I'm not sure what this means, but maybe you are correct. Soy boy? No, not at all. I'm neither of those things. Well, one of those things, I guess. No. Yes, obviously. No. I mean, it's actually quite nice in this tea. I can't deny. And I was skeptical at first as well, but I mean, colleague was just like, we soy now, and I thought I'll give it a try, and it's actually not the worst thing in the world. Um, I thought it would be horrible, but I can't deny it's okay. I Can't deny. What you have for breakfast? I don't really eat breakfast. I don't really consume that. I eat something in the evening, but that's usually about it. Not really much else. Um, oh, this the frog comments have got out of control again. Um, if a girl kisses you, do you turn into a frog? I mean, I've never had the opportunity to find out. Well, I have, but not really. That would be quite fun though. But not really becoming a frog. I mean, it would depend on what frog you were. Like those frogs that scream at you, I'd quite like. And they're called like Burgess frogs or something. I kind of want to play a clip of it on YouTube, but you can't. You won't be able to see it, and I don't know if you can hear the audio that comes through. I'll see if I can find a video of uh of the frog screaming. Um, I don't budget's frog. I think it's called. Let's see. I can hear it. You might not be able to, but if you didn't, if you couldn't hear that, that's worse because in front of like all of these people, I just took the time to listen to a frog screaming. um, if no one could hear that, that was well, I mean, I can promise you it was a nice noise. Well, it wasn't a nice noise. It was an interesting noise. This is a disaster. Why are you not credited in Shrek for your part as the frog? We had some disagreements on Severance, so not my fault. Take it out with management. Why are there 224 people watching this? Why are you here? This is this is a disaster. Like we've gone way off the rails. Like we've left the remit of transportation. Um, yeah, it's like okay, we think of a Monday stream for helping players out with War Thunder. That's a good idea, and the stream is just frog. Yep, absolutely. Oh, well, I'm glad that you are getting some proxy enjoyment out of this. Um, oh, a War Thunder question. Yes! Oxy, what nation did you start when you first played? I played America, aircraft. This was back when there were only aircraft in the game. I picked America because I thought their vehicles were sort of the most varied. I really liked them. So, yeah, I picked those. I played the pea shooters. I went through to the Mitchell. The AG-20 was probably my favorite vehicle in the game at that time. I really, really liked it. Yeah, that's what I went through. And I don't regret that at all. I like my first sort of initial time in the tree. It was really nice. Um, I always thought of you as a Germany kind of guy. What does this mean? Curious. Why is the anime helicopter a HE premium now? Do you mean GE premium? I think just because the packs probably weren't selling amazingly well, and now it's more accessible, being for Golden Eagles. So it can be included in um sales and stuff. So I think that's why. I'm not really sure though. I just don't think they sold immensely well. Like if I had to guess, I don't know. Play the frog sound on your phone. I could do that. Why am I doing this? I'm meant to be a professional. uh, there we go. Budget's frog scream. The best part about that is that because it covers my mouth, it looks like I'm making the noise. There you go. That's a Budget's frog. I think it's Budget's or Burget's frog or something. I like them. They just yell at you the whole time, and I mean, I can kind of, I can kind of gel with that. Like I can respect the frog for that. I just, yeah, I'm sorry for scaring your cat. It is sort of like I guess it could make a cat sort of scared. It sounds a bit like a cat noise, but I mean, yep. Uh, that sounds beautiful. Yes, it does. A gorgeous sound. Gaijin CEO must be proud. I mean, I'm sure if he was aware, he would be best pleased. Maybe. Hey Oxy, would you recommend playing Naval? Yes, I think Naval can be very fun. My most sort of, I guess the period that I like the best is probably Destroyers and below, like 4-3 and below. I really like. Really early cruisers as well. I think can be quite fun. I'm not super keen on the really high tier stuff. But I do quite like, yeah, destroyers I think can be quite fun. Patrol boats are quite fun too. Yeah, I think so. I think it's worth putting a bit of time into. Absolutely. Absolutely. Why can't I research the top German jets effectively with the German G91 premium? I guess because it's tier 5 and the new jets are moved up to tier 7. So you can only research effectively one rank up and every rank below with a premium. So you can't research rank 7 with rank 5, unfortunately. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? That is a good question. I don't know. Maybe in a completely different place, as a completely different person. I'm not sure. I don't really think about it that much. I'd probably be, don't know, maybe in a very different place, in a very different world, in a very different sort of, don't know, not sure. We will see. Hey Oxy, any rumor we'll be getting mechanic that allows Are you asking me to spread a rumor of this? That's a strange. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I think the perspective is that it's not really possible to do in real life for a lot of vehicles. Maybe it will come at some point for tanks that could feasibly do it, but I don't know if it will become a sort of general wide mechanic. I'm not sure. How am I supposed to play War Thunder when you keep stealing my oxygen? I mean, I can't help it. There's a breathtaking joke here, but I won't make it. Spread rumors. The rumor roundup thread needs your help. Maybe. I could give a very sort of cryptic leak for something. That could be quite fun. But I probably won't do that. What, in your opinion, is a more worthwhile purchase, the AV8A or the F5C? The F5C is more versatile and more forgiving to use, but it is at a BR where it will fight very tough enemies. The Harrier can, at its BR, work very, very, very well. After this update with its missiles, it works very, very well. But it's a bit harder to use, and if you're a new player buying into top tier, you're going to want something very forgiving, and I think the F5C is probably more forgiving in that sense. But I think in general, it's probably better to avoid buying into that kind of bracket straight away. I think you should sort of progress and then slowly build up to buying a top tier premium if you actually are eventually going to buy one. So yeah, I think they're both okay. The Harrier is harder to use, F5C is easier to use, but you'd probably, just based on the matchmaking, get a lot out of the Harrier if you can kind of make it work effectively. So if you've had the experience to make it work, I think it could definitely sort of function like that as a product. But I'm not sure. I think if you're kind of considering it, I would wait a bit and sort of play the game a bit more, progress down the tree, and then sort of go for it. That's what I would do. I never think it's a good idea to buy right into top tier ever, really, I think, from my perspective. I will pour out the remainder of my beverage. Mine tea. And then we'll be sufficiently teed out for today. Are there any reserve tanks you feel are too good for reserve? The LVTA one, I think, is too good for reserve. Or maybe it's just in the sense that it's too forgiving, I guess. It's a very, very forgiving tank, and on that basis, it performs artificially better. That would probably be the one I'd pick. I'd say it could probably be switched out for the M2. The LVT uses the M6 cannon, so it's more powerful. short stabilizer, hugely forgiving, very mobile, high crew count. The M2 has a manual turret drive at like 3.3 degrees a second, no short stabilizer, very poor weapon handling, and a weaker version of the gun. And I think those two could probably be swapped if I had to guess. That's probably what I would say, I think. Got a license for that cup of tea? No, I don't. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to come over here and fight me? No, please don't. I mean, I'm very small. Well, not really very small. My bones are small, I guess. Don't know. There's not really much to me. I don't have a lot of mass to sort of fight with. So if you punch me in the chest, my heart will probably stop. Don't try it, though, please. I would not like to sort of risk it. Tips on the Hetzer. Trying to play at range is very good, especially at the BR. And you need to make sure you're not showing any side armor whatsoever, because the side is only 20 millimeters thick. So everything can overmatch you. So even if you're just slightly angled, any conventional tank shell can just sort of cut right through you. So yeah, you're not going to want to do that. So a range is good because then you can sort of avoid... well, at close range, for example, if the enemy is a few degrees to your left or right, then that's a lot more of your side they can see. If they're a few degrees to your left or right, but you're like 800 meters away, then they can't really get that good an angle on your side armor. So you're going to want to stay at distance. It improves the armor. Try and avoid the bottom of the hull if you can. Not every map allows for a position like that to work, but if you can find a position like that, it will work incredibly well. Avoid close range, because in any instance where the enemy can get to your side, you've lost. So make sure you're constantly pointed forwards. And as well, be very aware of engaging enemies that are close to you, because the Hetzer is not exactly very... the engine isn't very powerful. So maneuvering takes a while. So you're going to need to be very, very careful if you are close to an enemy. So in that sense, you are going to want to stay quite far back. And yeah, that's roughly what I would go with. Roughly what I would go with, I would say. Sam Martin says, soy boy. Yep, I got a bit of soy in this tea. What are you going to do? Cry in the YouTube comments? That's what I thought. Come on, Sam. You're better than that. I mean, unless it's a funny comment, in which case, yep. What kind of soy boyery is this? It's not bad. I mean, I hated it at first, but after a while it was like, well, it's okay, and it's the only milk we have, so I will consume it. Have you ever been arrested? I have not. That would be quite fun, though. Ow. Oxy, how would you get past the early ranks of Japan ground and air? I would probably get a vehicle that you enjoy and talisman it. So for tanks, I would probably talisman the Chi-Hi. Very, very good tank. Very versatile, great gun, short stabilizer works, armor works at its BR. And from that, you can really push through the initial tiers. For aircraft as well, you can do something similar. You can talisman something like... or what's low tier and good? Any of the early Zeros are good. The Ki-43 is good. The what else is quite good, actually? The Ki-43-3 is very good with the 20 mils. That one's very good. I'm saying very good a lot, like it's disingenuous. Yeah, I think something around that bracket, like the early Zeros, probably, you know, a good option is talisman. Same for China as well. Talisman a vehicle you like, and that really will see you through a lot of the tree. Absolutely. What kind of soy do you use? I don't know. It's not... I never buy it myself. It's just when I have to make tea here, I need to use the milk that my colleague buys in the fridge, and it's always soy milk. So I have to use it. I prefer regular milk, but it just so happens that there's none available that's in date. So I don't know. I don't really have much agency in the milk department there. Gets arrested on stream. I mean, it could happen, I suppose. That could be quite fun. Yeah, I am quite pale. I sort of my skin is quite sort of, I don't know. There's a term for it. I think it's an embarrassing term for it. I think I can't remember. But my skin will just burn in the sun. It will just fall off. So I am incredibly pale. Although I look paler than usual because um, the lights here are quite kind of use white filters a lot. So I look probably paler than I am. But yeah, I just burn in the sun, so I don't really go out very much like that. Why don't you buy your own milk? Because the office is sort of catered in the sense that there'll be, well, someone will buy like pallets of it. So there's always like 20 cartons of milk available. So there is literally no point. Yeah. So I just kind of go to that. Um, do you think the bomber variants of the Mosquito will come to War Thunder? Maybe. I mean, the version with the cookie could be quite fun, although it would be incredibly strong. I don't know how best that thing could be balanced, but yeah, I mean, interesting. I mean, I would like to see them definitely. Absolutely, I definitely would. There we go. I don't know if we will, but definitely a possibility. Uh, no, I'm not albino. I'm just quite pale. Hey Tom, this is the first time I've watched a War Thunder stream. Do you suggest I watch more? I don't really think it's my place to sort of assert whether you should do something like that. I mean, if you enjoy them, go for it. Um, it's like well, on Monday it's just me talking for a bit. On Thursday and Friday, I have Mike. We play War Thunder and Enlisted. So yeah, if you want to come along, watch it, go for it. I mean, we do giveaways on the Thursday and Friday a fair bit, so you can get some stuff maybe. But if you like it, then go for it. You don't solve issues like your skin falling off due to the sun. No, it's like it's not necessarily a skin condition, I think, but it's just there's a particular term for it, like a term, but my skin is just it though you can probably find it if you Google it. I can never remember the name, but it's an embarrassing name, I think. I remember that from school. But yeah, I can't really train my skin. What a sentence that is. I can't train my skin. Um, yes. How to Train Your Skin with Keith Chegwin and Kenneth Clark. Doesn't, yeah. Nope. Tom, don't buy this. It's too expensive. It's over tier. Don't watch this. Yeah, this is marketing gold. I mean, there are products in the game that I think are well worth it, and others that I don't think are that beneficial. And I mean, one of the initial things I said when I kind of got this job is that, you know, I'm not going to come here and pretend a product's a good product if I don't think it's good, you know? So yeah, like I won't recommend that people buy top tier premiums if they're not familiar with the game. There are some premiums that I don't think are really worth the money, but there are some I think definitely absolutely are worth the money, and you should always put the money into the game to pay for those things. But there are some things I think are not necessary. I mean, you can definitely still buy them and get use out of them, but there are some things that just don't have as much function as products. For example, tier 4 premiums are a bit irrelevant now that we have tier 6 because there's in some nations there's like less than 10 vehicles in rank 5 and there's like 20 in like tier 6. So a tier 4 premium has very little usability, so just buy a tier 5 premium. So on that front, there are things that just don't really, I wouldn't really recommend as products. But some I definitely would. So, I mean, I can see the perspective that it might seem kind of silly that, I can sit here and say, don't buy this. But I mean, some things you absolutely should. Well, if you want to dedicate time to the game, absolutely. So it depends. Explain how did I bounce a T-3485 at point blank with no angle with my Tiger H1? You can hit the lip of the driver's port, the lip of the machine gun, the lip of the turret ring, the mantlet. There are areas that you will bounce. It's very unlikely you will if you can kind of aim for the sort of the main section of the hull, but it's not impossible to bounce. Absolutely. Um, If you were to add one vehicle to the game, what would it be? Uh, the vehicles I would like to add wouldn't be very beneficial for gameplay. I'd love to. I really like big bombers. I love the YB-49 and the YB-35. That's probably my favorite aircraft of all time, apart from the HU-111. That and the Ju-390 I'd really like. But yeah, the YB-49 and the 35, they're those huge flying wing bombers that America made. They existed. They flew. They ran tests, but I don't know if it would work very well in the game. But I would love to see that. I think it's just such a cool aircraft. You know, I'd really like that. So yeah, that's probably what I'd pick. It wouldn't have the most sort of use in terms of game health, but I love the aircraft and I'd love to see them definitely. Can the UK get the skink? Maybe. I don't know. Um, yeah, exactly. They would be victims a lot, which I think is part of the reason why we don't have similar aircraft like that in the game at that tier. Um, so yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't disagree with that at all. They would be very tricky to truly kind of balance in that sense. So yeah, I can see why they're not here, but I don't know. I'd like it. What's your favorite skin in the game? Um, hmm, tricky. There are so many. I like the just from like legacy, I guess. I like the bright orange and bright yellow skin on the G8N1. Those are really nice. I like those a lot. I'd probably go with those, but if I thought about it, there would probably be something else I'd pick. But from on top of my head, that's what I go for. Hey, there's been talk about the BMP T-72 Terminator coming to the game. I mean, there's been talk, doesn't really analog to anything. I mean, the community can talk about something coming for a lot, but that doesn't really give it any credence as an idea. Um, Nothing I can really give on that front. I mean, I don't really have any idea if it's coming. Um, Sorry, yeah, I don't really think I can really help on that front. Maybe at some point, absolutely, but I can't really comment on anything like that right now. Sorry. Um, when do you think come the SU-27? Maybe in the future. As always, I'm not sure. I cannot speak to new vehicles coming pretty much at all. Um, I can pretty much just sort of help you out with the game a bit if you like. There's ultimately quite little, I guess, that I can do to talk about new stuff coming. It's not really my place to do that, I guess. Oxy, have you got any tips for getting more SL? I'm low right now. Well, the best and sort of least disingenuous option is to premium account and premium. Um, so I'd probably go with that. But it ultimately it depends. You're going to want to play um, a vehicle you enjoy rather than just a vehicle with a high modifier. Because if you do play with a high modifier and you're not enjoying the vehicle you're playing, it becomes like a task, like you're completing I guess, a job, I guess, in that sense. So, um, and I think if you approach the game in that way, you lose. You lose War Thunder when you approach it like a job. So the way I always see it is the kind of progression, like in terms of more RP, new vehicles, or like Silver Lions. Uh, it should be a secondary aspect to playing the game and getting new vehicles. If you, because I think for some people it's flipped. It's your priority should be having fun, having a good time with the game, and then the passive advantage of doing that should be you get RP and you get Lions. If you switch it around in that you play for Lions and you play to get RP, then fun the fun aspects sort of become supplementary, which I think is the wrong way to go about it. So I never think that approaching the game just to accumulate resources like that isn't the best way to go, because if you do that and you have a game, it doesn't go very well, you lose, you pay your repair cost, you will treat it as a drawback, like a loss, not in the sense of a loss of a game, but a loss of your time, and a loss in terms of the task you're trying to complete. So I think the best way to do it is to get a lineup, like a tank RB lineup is what I do. Premium tank, premium aircraft, low tier, nothing like maybe tier 3, something that doesn't cost very much. Premium account, premium aircraft, premium tank, play that lineup. And as long as you like the lineup, you will get a lot of resources from playing it, and it won't be the focus. It will just be a nice benefit from having a good time doing something you enjoy. And I think the best kind of advice is really to just don't play something just because it's efficient. Play it because you enjoy it. Otherwise, the game becomes a job, and on that basis, it stops really being a game in that sense. And I think that's probably how I would approach it personally anyway. You're free to play. How do you have fun? The way I do it generally is I like to set myself kind of little tasks, I guess. So unlock a camo, spade a vehicle, that kind of thing. That's what I do, because spading stuff in the lower tiers and getting camos is quite brief. It's very easy to do it, in that you can play a game and like unlock a lot of new modules and that kind of thing. So I would do that. I would focus on getting some skins for your favorite vehicle, spade some vehicles, really understand them, because that's the way you'll learn more about the vehicles you play, more about the vehicles you'll fight. So if you're playing everything, spading everything, it's very quick. You'll constantly be improving your gameplay. You'll be permanently improving the performance of your vehicles, and that's what I would go for, honestly. Spade stuff, get camos. That's how I would approach the game from a free-to-play perspective. That's what I would do. When you got your first PC, I think probably when I was like 15, I think like 14, 15 is when I got my first PC. Yeah, I think so. Why is maxing out your vehicles called spade? Because in the back of the tech tree stat card icon, there's a little ace of spades icon. It used to be called acing. You'd ace a vehicle when you'd unlock all the modules, but now it's called spading because of the little ace of spades you get behind it. Would you ever make vids on other games? I'd really like to, but I think it would kill my channel stone dead. I mean, I don't think many people are really kind of interested in that kind of thing. I'd love to do it though, because I studied game design and narrative development at college. I've got a couple of A levels in it, so I know a lot about games. That's such a cringy thing to say. But I do. I studied it, and I really like games. I like playing different games and kind of learning about how they work and their systems and stuff. So yeah, I'd like to do that, but I'd probably end up making another channel to do it. Maybe at some point, but it would probably be a secret channel that I'd never show anyone. I have a couple of secret channels. I have one channel where I did a let's play of quite a small game I quite liked. I don't think anyone will ever watch it, but I did do that once. I think it's impossible to find it, but it is there on YouTube, and it's sort of, I guess, technically possible. My sweet frog prince, can you sing a song for us? I used to sing a lot. I used to be in a couple of choirs, but I have not sung properly for a very long time, and my voice, I don't think, is tuned to it anymore. It's been a fair while. I'd like to maybe one day, bit of a sing, but I don't think right now is probably the best area to do that, I think. It seems like you start to have grey hair. Yeah, most of my hair's grey. I don't know if you can kind of see, but yep. I have lots of grey hairs. It's greyer than it looks. A lot of the grey hairs come from here, like my crown. Um, so yeah, a lot of the people in my family went grey in their sort of early 20s, and like by 30, I think my dad, my aunt, and my granddad on two different sides of the family went completely grey by 30. So yeah, I will go. My hair will go completely white in a few years. So that'll be fun. Maybe. Mm. Um, where am I from? I'm from the UK. From Kent in Margate. Um, quite a nice place. Uh, I like it. Well, and I will go back there one day when I sort of move away from Germany. I move back to the UK. I don't know what to do though, because I've got a flat by the sea on my own, and I'll probably start up my business. I don't know. I'd like to. I don't know. I don't like living on my own that much. I'd like to sort of live with someone. I think so. Maybe I can try and figure that out one day. That'd be nice. I think maybe that's sort of in my 5 year future plan. Do not know. Come to Brazil? No. Well, maybe I don't know. Paint your hair blonde. Can you imagine what like alternate reality nightmare fest that would be if I was blonde? I would look. I already look horrendous in terms of presentation. Imagine how bad I'd look then. I would want to just, I don't know, jump out of the window. That would be awful. Um, man. Get a wife. Pacific 200. Yeah, I'll just go out and get one off the street. Hello, would you like to be my wife, please? Yes, thank you. And it will, don't know, arrive from there. We'll see. Um, shush. Um, what are your favorite vehicles? I quite like the one at the well. I don't know. Do you, sorry to ask another question back at you. Do you mean aesthetically or in terms of functionality? Like what I enjoy playing or what I like don't know, looking at, I guess. Let me know. I don't like sort of answering sort of incorrect question. Um Phil. No, it's not going to happen. I don't speak German, so I'm not going to really meet anyone over here. I don't really know anyone, which is fine because German is quite spooky. I will marry you. I'm a dude though, bro. Thank you for the comment. That's quite yes. Uh hey Tom, any chance we can see stronger arresting wires on Cold War aircraft carriers? Yeah, that's a good suggestion actually, maybe. I don't I don't know, but if it's not already in the works, definitely put a suggestion about it. That's a pretty good one. I like that. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Put that as a suggestion on the forum if you can. I would definitely like to see that. Absolutely. How do I drop all my bombs at once in a bomber? There's I can't remember what it is. Someone in chat probably knows. It's a keybind for that drops all of your bombs in a row effectively. So instantly it will drop one and then the next and the next. So yeah, I would do that. Well, I would do that of course. That's how you do it effectively. It's I think it's drop bomb series. I want to say it's called, and that should let you drop everything in one go. Interesting shirt. Where'd you get it? I don't remember where I got this from. Yeah, it's like a sort of grey jumper, and it's got this bit inside. This isn't its own shirt. This is part of the thing itself, which is quite nice. And it's got a zip on the bottom. I don't know why it's got a zip, but it does. Yeah, I don't know what it's there for. I think it's if your hips are quite wide, it will just sort of give you more breathing room. Um, I guess I don't know. It's quite nice though. I like the pattern. I like sort of grey patterns. What nation do you recommend for newer player? I always recommend China, in the sense that China has vehicles from pretty much every other nation. Well, not every other nation, of course, but most other nations. So if you were to play through, say, to tier 3 in China, you would have experienced vehicles from a lot of other nations. So if you get to that point and you can work out a vehicle that you really like playing, and say if it's like a Japanese plane like the Ki 43, or if it's the Lancer or anything like that, if you play through China in the early stages and then you can identify a vehicle you really, really like, you're flying an aircraft and it clicks, it's like this. This is the type of aircraft I like. Then from that, you can migrate to the tree that has more vehicles from that playstyle. And that way you aren't like losing a lot of time. Like say if you pick America and you get to like tier 4 and you realize I like more maneuverable planes. I'm not really into this. And then you go through to Japan or Britain, you've then lost time that you could have spent, playing a vehicle that you enjoyed more. So I think in that sense, playing China is really good because it would, it lets you experience more things in a very condensed area. So yeah, I would go with that personally. My nose is itchy again. I don't know why it does that. I think it does it if I talk too much, or if I used to think it was if I'm nervous, but I don't think I'm nervous. So maybe it's I don't know, talking. Not sure. Um, Gasoline or diesel? I don't know. I can't drive. I don't really have much agency in the fuel world, I'm afraid. Um, Chinese vehicles have unbelievable luck. That is an intensely vague thing to say. I'm not really sure what that means. What does that mean, actually? Um, yeah, that's, I think, for the 100th F-14 comment. I can't really talk about anything upcoming or anything like that, I'm afraid. So, sorry. Would be nice, of course. Any new stuff that fills a role is always, I mean, I'm always about that. So, but yeah, I can't really comment on that, I'm afraid. Sorry. Have you ever invaded France? No. I've been to France, but I've not really, don't know, asserted my presence there. Oh, that was lots of long messages all at once. Um, how long does it take a vehicle to be developed and released? I'm not sure exactly, but it's I think over a year or so it can take in modeling and then like implementing everything. It can take about a year. Like so, yeah, it's very very long time, very very long time to make vehicles for this game. Ships especially. The models for ships are well hugely like no, time consuming. I guess like it's like a really long time. Um, do you like planes more or tanks? I don't know really. I like both a lot. I like props way more than jets. I really like props playing through those and spading them and stuff. But I like tanks all over. I'm not sure I could pick. I think tanks probably have more for me to do right now. So I do like tanks quite a lot. But I like both. I really like aircraft too. All right, Oxy, is it true that Gaijin buys 3D vehicle models from other designer studios? Um, they're not bought in that sense. They're commissioned. So the model production is outsourced. It's not in the sense that they're bought from pre-existing renders of vehicles. They are directly commissioned through other studios who are specialized in making them. So yeah, I mean, they are effectively made, made themselves in the sense that they are made exactly to the specifications. It's just that the act of creating them, like the kind of, I guess, the labor involved of creating them is not done in house. But the exact specifications and design and everything is a sort of as a prerequisite for it. Hello, Tigers Den. I hope you're having a nice day. Nice to see you. Um, out of curiosity, how long before the update do you know what's coming? Um, it depends. I know a lot of what's in development generally, but it depends. I mean, when the new updates kind of decided like what new vehicles are ready, etc. What can make a fun kind of theme or whatever. It depends. I mean, I know things that are being developed, but there are things that have been developed for years. So it's not like there's a list of things that will absolutely be arriving in the next update or whatever. It just sort of depends what's ready, when it's ready, etc. I'm not really sure. Would the background you're using now be available for CCs? Yeah, I don't see why not. I'm not sure that was a little click. Uh, I'm not sure exactly where it comes from or who makes it, but I'm pretty sure it's usable. Maybe ask on the Discord, no, on the Discord about it. I don't think there'd be a problem. Yeah. Ask about it there. I think you'll probably get a better answer than what I can give here. I think. Salutations to you too, Nathan. I do wish that Gaijin would release the French Navy. Do you think it will come in the future months? I don't know. Maybe. It'd be nice if it did, but I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. Yeah, it could be great for like a startup screen. There are actually a few of them. Like this one too is quite nice. We do have quite a few of them. So yeah, maybe if it's allowed, then definitely. Yep. Absolutely. Would there be Oxy's cat sweater skin on a tank? That could be kind of fun. Yeah, Mystic, I know. Look, it bothers me. The IS-3 is too smooth. It doesn't have the extra track armor on the pike on the front. And that really bothers me. The IS-3 is too smooth. Smooth as the bonnet of a Porsche. Not in that voice, though. Yeah, I mean, I like this kind of... Tell you what, actually, this cat theme, I'll stand up again because I really like it. It's like the kind of skin that you'd see on one of the guns in one of the new Call of Duty games. They have that kind of that kind of vibe. So yeah, that could be kind of fun. I'd like that, like a little cat skin. That's a good idea. Maybe I'll do that. I'm not sure what vehicle I'd put it on though. I will dwell on this. I don't know why I did that with my eyes either. That was peculiar. Oh, nothing is starting soon. It's just the intro screen that I cut to. Tom, don't some of the modern tank skins look a bit too dirty and worn, even at 100% condition? Yeah, I kind of get what you mean. I agree. I think some of them do look a bit more kind of like dirty, I guess. It'll be nice to sort of get like a factory new kind of look to them sometimes, but yeah, like I know what you mean. I definitely know what you mean. Yeah, it could be a suggestion to sort of see if they can be cleaned like that. But I think some of it is sort of built into the bump map, so I'm not sure how easy it would be to sort of make it look cleaner. I'm not sure. Definitely ask about it though. I mean, suggest it. That's a really good suggestion, I think, because anything in terms of customizing your vehicles, I really really like. So yeah, it's a good suggestion. I like that. Whatever happened to the AJ1 from the old Gaijin plans? Those old roadmaps are quite outdated now, I think. I mean, at the time, they were what was sort of going to be worked on. Maybe they will come eventually. Like back in the day, it was like America was going to get the CW21 as a premium. Now it's in China. So maybe those things that were worked on could be in other trees. I'm not sure. So yeah, I think it wouldn't be, I guess, I wouldn't really expect any of those things, but maybe they will come at some point. Are they adding a premium Frog Boy with a dress decal? You can suggest it. I think on my Discord there's going to be a channel where you can do the decal suggestions for my affiliate thing. I don't know when that will happen, but I mean, by all means. Hi Tom, just wanted to say that video on identifying tanks you mentioned in your last video sounds like a splendid idea. I can't tell the T-62s, etc. apart. That I'm really glad to hear that. I would love to do that. When possible, I would really like to I'd really like to maybe work on something like that. I think that'd be really fun. I love aircraft and tank recognition in general, so that would be really cool. I really like that. Yeah, okay. I'm glad you like the idea. I will definitely be up for that. Why not as much World War II stuff now? Because a lot of the World War II period of the game, for some trees, I often say this with heavy air quotes, is complete in the sense that a lot of the early trees have enough vehicles around to for there to be not many gaps. There are still some World War II vehicles to be added, but generally speaking, I think as far as World War II content goes, there's not really a lot more gaps to fill. So for like the 109s in the German tree, they go from like, you've got the G2 at 4.3, the G6 at 4.7, G10, then G14, K4, they all go in one BR jump away from each other. So there are still, for example, in this example, more 109s to add, but if you do that, it's like great. I mean, World War II vehicles are my favorite overall. I don't really like modern stuff as much. But at the same time, if we did an update where we just add World War II stuff, people would say, oh, now there's more unnecessary grind to get to, modern day. So it's a sort of difficult perspective. I think there's still a lot more interesting World War II designs to be added, and I really hope they are prioritized as well. But I think in terms of the grand scheme of things, the World War II period of the game needs less development now than the more modern stuff. And I think that's probably the answer on that front. But I mean, I don't know, ultimately. Hey, Odd, please make an egg with an O2 on it. What's your opinion on the P8 bomb? I like the idea that there's a game mechanic where something is that powerful. But I don't think in its current implementation it's exactly fair to the people fighting it, because there's nothing to really do to stop yourself from dying from it, which I think is the issue for me at least. I don't like game mechanics that punish you for not making a mistake, and I think the P8's bomb is a really good kind of example of that. I think either it should be the case that you can, if you know it's coming, you can try and hide from it. So using buildings for cover, making the sound of the bomb more pronounced, so you know it's being dropped, or if it costed more SP to spawn in, or it just wasn't as powerful. I think using those aspects to kind of create a middle ground is probably the way to go, because I like the idea that it is as powerful as it is, but right now there are not enough drawbacks to it as a weapon to the point where it's detrimental for the user if it's used wrong, if it's dropped wrong. There's no detriment to that. It's really detrimental to the players on the ground who are affected by it. You can see that it's being dropped and have 30 seconds to reposition, hide behind cover, and still lose, and that's a really bad feedback loop. So I think there should be game mechanics in play that kind of allow you to be aware of it either being dropped, make it cost more SP, and then make it a bit more fair, I guess, in terms of being able to hide behind cover. Yeah, exactly, Odd. I think creating a kind of middle ground with those features is the way to go for the bomb like that. Absolutely. Bang on there. Hit the nail on the head, as my old dad used to say. Odd, you get it. Feedback loops. That's what we need. Always feedback loops. Anyway, actually, I think we're nearly done for today. I'm reaching the 2-hour mark. So I think we should probably wind down quite soon, as I don't want to take up any more of your day. And I still have a lot to do today, and there's only half an hour left in the working day. I don't want to stay too long. Hey, Oxy, do you think it would be fun or a feasible idea to add something like the Oka for the Betty as a glide bomb? I'd like the idea, but I don't know how it would work. I don't know enough about those bombs. Like I think America had their radio guided bomb. Germany had the, what was it, the HS 293. I'm going to Google it. HS 293. I want to say the glide bomb is. Yes, it is. Yes, that was the German glide bomb. Yeah, I'd like that. I'd like to see them added just because it's a really interesting weapon system, and I like kind of more things like that in the game. But I don't know how they would be best utilized. I'm not sure how that would work. But I love the idea. I love the idea. But the thing is, I don't know enough about the weapons platform itself to know how to sort of implement it, or like whether I think it would be a great idea or a terrible idea. But I like the idea of the bombs themselves, the weapons themselves. And I think on that basis, I think it would definitely be something nice to be explored. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey Oxy, do you plan on making a video on Swedish ground vehicles on your main channel? Yes, I definitely do. I love the Swedish ground tree. It's really versatile and it adds a lot of very interesting gameplay features that you can't find in the other trees. I would love to cover that, but I think Sweden's probably a little bit down the line. But I will definitely cover it. Absolutely, I will cover it at some point. Rest assured. Yeah, the Americans had a glide bomb as well. I can't remember what that one was named, but I have an original photo of that actually. After the war, when they were sort of, I can't remember where it was. It was at some sort of base or something. But I have a photo of that, and that's quite nice. I like the designs. I think they're pretty. How do I make the grind fun? Now that is an incredibly deep question, I guess, or rather a question with a lot of depth to it. The way I do it is I set myself small goals. Annoyingly, I'm not on the other PC, so I can't really show you. Actually, maybe. Let me see if I can do this. Hang on, bear with me. I'll get paint up. I may be a brief moment away. So if I activate this mic, you can now hear me. Bear with me. If I can get paint, I will attempt to show you this. So, ta-da, here we go. Here's paint. So, actually, can I put my, I can't put my face on, I'm on the other monitor. So, I will try and show now what my kind of goal is with this. So let's take the, well, this, for example. This is your progression. Let's say at the top here, which is your kind of, your goal, I guess, you want to unlock, let's go with the, say, the Tiger 1. So we'll put, you can see my paint skills here. So let's put Tiger 1 at the top of this. You are here, effectively. And so, let's say, for example, you just want to get the Tiger 1. You just want to progress. You just want to, you know, grind your way up. And so you can start off like this, and this is how you fill it in. You can slowly build it up just by playing the game like this. You can say buy a premium account, for example, to speed it up. So we can use the different length or the sort of width of the paintbrush to do that. But as you can see, this is still taking a while. This is taking a fairly long time. So, and this is what I used to do when I used to draw like houses and stuff as a kid. I'll show this as well just because it's an example. So if this was my house, I'd want to fill it in. And it would take a while because it's like, man, like I need to like color the whole thing in. So what I did is I would draw lines like this. I'll only do a couple like that. And this way I could fill in the little cubes and it would be like I was completing a small goal on the way to completing my higher goal. And it made these little points feel achievable. So let's do this for this diagram here. Well, diagram, I hasten to say, and create little segmented points along the way here. And we can do, each one can be different. So we can say this line is unlock. I'm not going to type it out. Well, looks like it's going to take too long to write it. This says unlock a Panzer III, for example. That can be your challenge to unlock a Panzer III. And once you've done that, sure, you can color this in and you've progressed your way up to the Tiger 1 because, hey, you've made progress by playing the game and unlocking your vehicle, and now you have a new vehicle to play. And now you can say, hey, the next step can be unlock a camo for that Panzer III. And while you're doing that, you're making more progress. And this one can be, spade it. So that's a 5. My paint writing is awful. So if you progress through the game on this basis and setting small, tangible goals, sort of achieving like achievable goals on your way to doing it, this is how I think you will get the most out of playing the game. Because it's not just like segmenting your progress, you are actively achieving something on the way to it. You're getting a new vehicle to play with. You're making your vehicle look nicer. You're making your vehicle perform better. You're finishing it effectively. And I think on that basis of sort of segmenting progression, that is how you make it way more bearable, I think. And at least for me, that is how I especially managed to kind of get through the entire game, unlock everything and spade everything. That's basically what I did. And I think for a lot of you, that's, well, I can't speak for you. I can't like kind of talk about how your brain works at all. But that's what made it much easier for me. And that's what I'd probably recommend for you to do too. And I'm back over here. Wonderful. My legs hurt. Ow. There you go. Hopefully that's a way, well, to sort of explain things. That's how I kind of looked at it anyway. Update your Windows. That's not, I mean, this is our second PC. I think it's updated on this one here, but yeah, sometimes they have, well, updates, of course. Yeah, exactly, Odd. Spading tanks is the way to do it because you're making constant progress, and at the same time, your vehicles are becoming more effective. You're learning about the game. You're learning more about the vehicles you're playing. You're learning about the vehicles you're fighting. And if you do that and jump around the different tiers and progress that way, that's absolutely the perfect way to go. Because, you earn more RP when you finish spading a vehicle, like even a line in the vehicle. So it's absolutely the way to approach the game. You don't even need premium for it. You don't need a premium vehicle or anything like that. You can just spade stuff. That's how I think you get the most out of the experience overall. Absolutely. Absolutely, I think. Yeah, so sorry if you sort of appeared during that MS Paint break there. But yeah, that's how I approached it anyway. I do actually notice that I probably should have put spade before camo. Although in some instances for low tier vehicles, you can get camos before you spade them. But yeah, they probably should have been switched around, I guess. What about maxing crews? Do a plan for those in terms of getting crew points or using the crew points? Which do you mean? Hey Zachary, the next video should be coming. Well, hopefully not too long. I like to well, I was gonna say I like to try and make them quickly. Hopefully it'll be sort of added, well, finished before too long, so my brain keeps breaking. Oxy, what tank do you recommend for a new LGBT player? Ah, this is bait. I see. I mean, this is very, very funny, and I'm getting a bit of proxy embarrassment reading your message. But for any genuine people watching, I mean, there's a lot of communities. Go join them, I guess, and it'll hopefully be a nice experience. That's very, very funny. Thanks for that. I don't know. You can do better. You can do better with those kind of messages. I like it when people put effort into their trolling. I don't like it when it's lazy. Is ramming people okay when out of ammo? I don't really think that's a question I can answer. I mean, it comes down to kind of, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's sort of subjective in the sense that it's justified to some people and not for others. I mean, in terms of a gameplay sense, it's an option, and on that kind of basis, it's absolutely, a tactic that can work, but it's just whether you think it's something that will be beneficial to your play. And I mean, I don't think it's like the most reprehensible thing in the world, and at the same time, I think if you can avoid it, you should. Um, but I think, yeah, I mean, I'll only go out of my way to do it if like I know that I have no other options. But it's not something I'll ever like try and do, I guess. Um, what's the best way of getting crew levels? Premium aircraft work very, very well for it, and arcade as well. I think I used to earn a lot more crew points in arcade. I don't know if that's still the case. This is a long time ago because I fully maxed most of my crews a fair while ago now. So I can't. I might have changed since then, but playing a lot of arcade, some premium vehicles. That's usually what I went for. Um, yeah, I think so. I think that's probably what I would use. I mean, premium helps, of course. Talismans as well increase your crew point earnings. So that can be really, really useful. Um, and that's, yeah, I mean, that's probably the suggestion, I think. You can tell that my brain is at the end of its tether now. I can't even finish a basic sentence without like failing. Um, Oxy, add lights to vehicles. I'm afraid I can't do that on my own. It would require a lot more effort on other people's fronts. But I mean, it would be interesting to see as a kind of aesthetic feature. But at the same time, I don't think it would be hugely useful, I guess. But it'll be nice though. Tome, I saw you on 4chan. Yeah, I get posted there a bit. Not even on just the WTG board, a lot of boards actually. So that's very fun. Yeah. Um, I hope you're doing well. I don't know. Sometimes it's funny. I mean, if people are like taking the piss in a funny way, it's like, sure, I like that. I mean, I don't know. I like insults if they're clever, and I can't be mad at it. You know, if it's like lazy, then it's like, sure. But if it's like, I don't know, well thought out, and it's like really like hard to kind of defend from, then it's like, I like that. That's clever. You know, I can respect that. Um, yeah. I mean, it's an interesting place. I go there from time to time with my people. um, good morning, afternoon, evening. Yes, good morning, afternoon, evening. It's evening now. I will probably cut this stream shortly as I've been going for over 2 hours, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. And as well, I mean, it's nearly the end of the working day, so I should probably, don't know, zoom off in a bit. I heard Tom likes clever insults, so I came back. Okay, you can have one pop at me. Go, booger. Nice. That's very simple. I like that as an insult because it is very simple, and I mean I think we can all sort of respect those sorts of comments in that particular vein. So that's brilliant. I like that. Well done. Thank you. Um, what happened in the lollipop incident? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's still early morning for me. Yeah. Yeah. It's like 5:45 at night here. I will be going home soon, I suppose. Well, I won't be. I've got more to do. But soon-ish anyway. And I need to do loads of invoices today. Very fun. So that'll be very enjoyable. I found a guy using the shooting range music without permission. Do I get a reward if I turn them in? I don't think so, but it would probably. I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if it's allowed to be used. I'm not sure what the sort of legality is on that. Um, hmm. We expect Frog Hat next stream. Okay, right. If it's on Amazon Prime, I'll see if I can. I'll see if it's available. I hate this so much. It is on Prime. I can get it by Wednesday. I don't want to buy it though because I'm selling out if I do that. If I buy the frog hat, and I mean I'm not about that life. Um, maybe I'll do it if I get bullied enough in the other room about it. I have some colleagues who watch this while I go, and there's usually some comments as I come back from the stupid things I say. So yeah, maybe. Buy the hat, angry face. Maybe put on the frog hat, coward. I love how my voice broke saying that. That's brilliant. That's so perfect. Yeah, dude. Tea really dehydrates. Kind of just dries my throat out. It's awful. So that keeps happening all the time, and it sounds horrible. It's because I don't drink enough water right now, which is kind of sucky. But yep. Frog and cat combo rated meh out of 10. Yep, absolutely. I'm very bad at ending things, or sort of, I guess, ceasing streams in general. I don't like sort of, I don't know, I'm not really very good at it. Ending things is sad. Well, depending on, the particulars of it, I suppose. Hydrate. Maybe I will. I will have some water afterwards. Our percolator got fixed. Well, it was working the whole time. It wasn't really very cold. So kind of sucked. But now it's working quite fine. So I will. Don't know. I'll see. What do you have more of, Shermans or dumb sweaters? Probably dumb sweaters. I think I've got a fair few of them. Like 4 or 5, I think. I like them. They're really tacky, and I mean they are dumb, but I don't know. I like them. They're quite sweet. Plus, they're really warm, and I get cold quite easily. So, yeah. But in general, I probably own more Shermans than dumb sweaters. But I mean, my man, if you want to hurt me, you got to go past the jumpers. I mean, you got to hit me hard. I mean, this is like a shield to me. These little sweaters, a cringe shield. It's sort of I don't know. It soaks up the embarrassment. So I mean, it works quite well in that respect. One more question, okay? I'll do one more. What is your favorite British plane? Says Paul Sunflower. Probably the Tempest Mark V, I think. It's just it's a gorgeous plane. You can turn with it, you can B and Z. I mean, if you're a capable pilot, you can basically counter anything in that plane. And I love it for that. Like, I remember back in the day when I play a lot, like the amount of like back-to-back aces I'd get. Obviously not all the time, but I mean, a lot of the time I could make that thing work really, really well. Yeah, I really like it. I'd probably go Tempest Mark V. Is ultimately my favorite. Really pretty plane. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I guess I should probably wrap up now. This has probably been quite. Yeah, I was about to say probably quite boring overall. Not really the best at selling myself. Well, not that this is sort of the epitome of entertainment, but I mean, yeah, I hope that some of you have enjoyed this, some more than others, I guess. But yeah, it's sort of a little quiet talk, chat thing, I guess, for Monday. So hopefully this sort of 2 hours and 18 minutes of your life has been relatively positive. Yeah, I hope to see most of you on Thursday as well for the main stream with Mike and I, which will be pretty fun. I vaguely know what we're doing. We'll see. Yes, goodbye everyone. Goodbye Abigail. I hope you have nice days, evenings, or mornings. Crazy how time works. And yeah, I will see you all soon. Bye. I'll find the button without looking at it. Is it this button? Nope, it's not. It's this one. A final showing of my terrible paint drawing. Bye bye.